As the ceremony began, the weight of anticipation hung in the air, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and unease. Lisa, radiant in her wedding dress, stood beside me, her eyes filled with love and hope, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I glanced at my mother, whose intense gaze seemed to hold something urgent and potentially devastating, and felt a chill run down my spine. She rose from her seat, halting the ceremony with an authoritative presence that silenced every guest's whisper. With a voice that pierced the silent anticipation, my mother declared it was time for everyone to know our family's dark secret. Her words felt like thunder, echoing through me, breaking the illusion of normalcy I had desperately clung to. All eyes turned to me, their confusion meeting the silent plea in my own gaze, begging my mother silently to stop. Lisa tightened her grip on my arm, silently demanding answers, while the air grew thick with unspoken turmoil. My mother stepped closer, revealing that our family's fortune was built on deception and betrayal, a truth that shattered my understanding of my world. In that moment, I felt the walls around me crumble as the weight of our family's corruption sank in, altering everything I knew. Lisa drew back slightly, her eyes wide with disbelief, the love she held now mingling with uncertainty and betrayal. I searched for words, some form of damage control, but could only muster apologies that felt meager amid the enormity of truth. As whispers grew louder, guests exchanging shocked looks, I realized that everything was about to change. Our lives and the love I thought was invincible. My mother's unwavering stance seemed to me both ruthless and freeing, exposing secrets that bound us and now sought liberation. Amidst the chaos, Lisa's eyes met mine, searching for truth she hadn't foreseen. A plea for honesty wrapping us in a painful bond. I took a deep breath, my heart torn between explaining or fleeing, feeling both trapped and exposed in the unraveling truth. Suddenly, Lisa's best friend stood to confront my mother, demanding further clarification of the allegations she had just made. My mother, unfazed, detailed how my grandfather's deceit had tainted our legacy, each word carving uncertainty deeper into our future. Lisa's grip loosened, hinting at a retreat into disbelief, leaving me desperate to hold on to the fragments of our relationship. I realized it wasn't just about our family anymore. It was about the choices we must make to rebuild honesty from the ruins. With trembling resolve, I confronted my mother, demanding to know why she chose today to reveal such devastating truths. Her reply was simple yet profound. It was time for healing, time to let go of pretense and fraudulent guilt. Lisa's expression softened slightly, acknowledging the painful necessity of the moment, yet not fully abandoning the hurt that lingered. I felt moments of clarity emerge, realizing this truth might allow me to redefine my path, even if it risked losing Lisa. Turning to Lisa, I spoke from the heart, inviting her to join me in building a future that was honest and untainted. She hesitated, but I saw a flicker of hope, the possibility of resilience sparking between us, even amidst disruption. My mother's revelations had twisted our world, but maybe they also offered a chance for redemption, a chance to start anew. As guests began to murmur again, their shock slowly turning into understanding, I felt the heavy inevitability of change. Facing everyone, I declared that this wedding would mark not just an end, but a new beginning, a promise for truth. Though uncertainties loomed large, I held Lisa's hand, signaling a shared journey towards finding authenticity together. I was standing in my small bedroom, surrounded by boxes, feeling the heavy weight of leaving my old life. It felt both scary and thrilling. As I packed the last box, I found an old photo of us, fraying at the edges, a bittersweet reminder of both happier and darker times. That photo triggered a rush of memories from our years together. My heart ached as I realized how far I had come to get to this moment. I brushed away tears, embracing the bittersweet relief of moving on. He had become a stranger, yet I'll carry those memories always. The sound of the moving van interrupted my thoughts. It was finally time to embark on this new chapter, no turning back now. With my heart pounding, I stepped onto the curb to greet the movers, feeling the excitement mingling with fear of the unknown. As the movers loaded boxes, I took one last look at my apartment, feeling the poignant echoes of laughter, tears, and dreams left behind. On the drive, I began to imagine possibilities in my next city, a blank canvas for dreams yet to be painted. I arrived at my new place, a cozy yet unfamiliar studio. Sunshine streamed through the windows, making it feel welcoming. Unpacking opened roads to rediscovery. Each item found a new place, curating a space that mirrored who I aspired to be. As I settled, old habits unexpectedly resurfaced, whispering doubts and fears. Change, it seemed, was a fickle companion. Determined not to dwell, I decided to explore the neighborhood, eager to embrace my new surroundings. The local cafe became a daily retreat, a source of warmth and community, where strangers slowly became friends. One evening, while sipping coffee, a kind stranger approached, sparking an unexpected and genuine conversation. The stranger, Eli, an artist, shared stories of resilience and hope, inspiring me to look at life through a creative lens. His passion reminded me of forgotten dreams. In each spoken word, a connection blossomed, nurturing dormant ambitions. Eli invited me to his art studio, an inspiring space full of color and light that beckoned me to reignite my creative spirit. At the studio, I picked up a brush hesitantly, feeling the thrill of rediscovery as colors danced under my hand. We spent hours painting, sharing, laughing, a perfect reminder that beginnings flourish in the soil of authentic connection. With each stroke, I knew I was not just decorating a canvas, but painting the path to my future, my perfect new beginning. Eli and I talked late into the night, our laughter echoing, memories of past burdens slowly turning to wings. My creative pursuit soon seeped into other areas of life, nourishing my newfound confidence and resilience. Old fears faded as I embraced growth, no longer isolated in my cocoon, but resolute in forming ties. Weeks passed. My new circle included people who challenged me, inspired me, and turned each day into an adventure. Eli became a significant presence, encouraging me to build bridges to the best versions of ourselves. Together, we dreamed of possibilities, marrying our hopes with action, each day a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. My new beginning was no longer just mine. It intertwined with Eli's, creating a narrative that was rich and fulfilling. On reflection, I realized the greatest treasures were found in simple connections, the gift of sharing genuine moments. My heart was lighter, untethered by past chains, having learned that every new beginning is written by one's courage. I knew now that the future, a perfect new beginning, was not a place, but a feeling nourished by bravery and growth. I've always been the type to worry about things, even when everything seems fine. Yesterday was one of those days as I stood in my living room feeling the weight of unseen troubles. The morning air was deceptively calm, yet there was a heaviness in my chest that I couldn't shake. I glanced at the clock, wondering if it was just me being paranoid again. I tried distracting myself by watering my plants, but thoughts kept bubbling up like an unwelcome storm. The crisp sound of water hitting the soil didn't ease my mind. As I put the watering can down, my phone chimed with a message. It was from my sister who lived abroad, her words cryptic enough to stir my anxiety further. I knew she was hinting at family drama but refused to elaborate further, leading me to feel trapped under the weight of my imagination. My apprehension grew. Determined to break free from the paralyzing loop of fear, I set off for a walk. The streets were bustling, but I felt utterly disconnected from the lively surroundings. I stopped by a cafe hoping a hot drink might provide solace. The chatter around me was lively, yet all I could think about was the unknown threat lurking in the background. Taking a deep breath, I dialed my sister, hoping to get clarity. Her voice trembled slightly, an indication that my fears might have some merit after all. She finally admitted there were issues at home, tensions rising, the kind one feels before everything comes undone. Her words plunged me deeper into anxiety. I left the cafe, my mind spinning, questioning whether I should go home immediately or wait it out. Indecision gnawed at me until I felt paralyzed. The sound of a sudden downpour pulled me from my thoughts. I hurried for cover, but the rain soaked me through, matching the emotional tempest I carried inside. I called a cab, deciding to confront whatever was brewing at home. The ride felt interminably long, my heart pounding with each passing streetlight. Arriving at my parents' house, everything seemed eerily normal, yet tension hung in the air like a storm's oppressive humidity, just waiting to explode. My mother greeted me, her attempt at a smile failing under the weight of unspoken worries. The house felt like a stage set for an upcoming tragedy. My parents spoke in hushed tones, their voices barely breaking the awkward silence. I tried to understand the source of their distress, but secrets eluded me. Finally, my father revealed an issue with his health. something they didn't want to burden me with while I was far away. The revelation was shocking but oddly relieving. Now informed, I felt a responsibility to support them, but the burden was heavy with emotions. I tried not to let fear dictate my actions at that moment. I spent the evening with them, sensing a shift towards unity, despite the gravity of the situation. Silence gave way to a shared vulnerability. Before leaving, I promised to return as soon as possible, seeing a glimmer of hope in their eyes. It was a reminder that confronting fears sometimes helped beyond measure. Back home, the chaos of earlier events felt oddly resolved. There was a sense of calm within me, but I knew the journey ahead would be complex. I unpacked the feelings which surfaced earlier, sorting through them. Surprisingly, they seemed manageable, with understanding easing the edges. Days passed, and while the fear lingered like an echo, my sister and I maintained stronger, clearer communication. Droplets of anxiety settled into understanding. I visited my parents more frequently, sensing their relief growing each time. Slowly, the stormy anticipation gave way to newfound hope. Family breakfasts turned into cherished rituals, each morning promising resilience despite underlying fears. Our bond strengthened, providing an anchor. I finally faced my emotions and accepted that life was unpredictable. Denial slowly waned, making room for courage amidst uncertainty. The real storm we feared never came. Instead, it left us with precious insights that offered comfort, proving that anticipation often outweighs reality. As seasons changed, I learned to embrace the calmer waves life offered, realizing that acceptance was key to navigating future storms. We learned to cherish the quiet moments, allowing them to rejuvenate us before new challenges arose. The anxiety had reshaped into resilience. Looking back, I understood those days of turmoil served as reminders of strength that lies within vulnerability, teaching me invaluable lessons. The rain may have been cleansing rather than chaotic, leaving nothing but clarity and assurance that I'll carry forward on this journey. I woke up to the sunlight streaming through my bedroom window, the reality of my wedding day sinking in as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I slipped into the satin robe my mom gave me, a family heirloom, its soft touch a comforting reminder of the generations of love supporting me. My best friend Anna burst into the room, her excitement infectious as she bounced on her toes, clutching a fresh bouquet of white roses. As we laughed, my fiancé Jacob texted me, his words of love and excitement making my heart flutter anew. Could this day be any more perfect? The morning flew by as Anna and I got ready. Makeup brushes twirled and laughter echoed around the room. Everything felt like a beautiful blur. With my dress on, I paused to look at my reflection, a vision of white lace and dreams. It was finally real. Anna helped pin the flower to my hair, her eyes a mix of pride and a hint of sadness, reminiscent of shared memories and growing up. My mother entered, her eyes misty with tears yet shining with happiness. She adjusted my veil and whispered how proud she was. As I arrived at the venue, the ornate arches adorned with flowers took my breath away. It was like walking into a fairy tale. Entering the chapel, the sound of the organ playing filled my ears, and I felt a flutter of nerves mixed with excitement. My heart swelled seeing Jacob at the altar, his smile wider than I'd ever seen. This was the moment our lives intertwined forever. As we exchanged vows, each word felt like weaving threads of our life together, the emotion in Jacob's voice unwavering and deep. The moment Jacob slipped the ring onto my finger was ethereal, an endless circle signifying our journey ahead. We shared our first kiss as husband and wife, surrounded by applause and the warmth of loved ones. It felt as though time stood still. As we walked down the aisle together, the burst of flower petals filled the air, and I felt absolute joy. At the reception, laughter and music filled the room. Everyone seemed to radiate happiness, celebrating love in all its forms. During our first dance, the world faded away. It was just us, swaying in the gentle rhythm of our chosen song. After hours of mingling, I found a quiet moment to breathe and reflect on the whirlwind the day had been. Everything had gone perfectly. Jacob joined me, wrapping his arms around my waist, whispering his love and gratitude for sharing this life together. Just then, my father approached with a surprise, a dance of father and daughter, a tradition almost forgotten. Our dance was full of laughter and nostalgia, reminding me of how he taught me to waltz in our living room. As the night drew on, guests began to depart, leaving behind a glow of well wishes and cherished memories. Jacob and I stepped outside for a breath of fresh air under the starlit sky, reflecting on the unforgettable day. I confessed my happiness to Jacob, realizing it wasn't just the day but the beginning of a beautiful journey together. He kissed my forehead, sealing promises with quiet gestures of love, confirming that this was the life we both yearned for. He took my hand as we turned towards the lights of the venue, ready to step back inside and officially begin our journey together. Back inside, the night wound down with shared stories, tears, and laughter. It was a night meant to resonate forever. As the last guests bid farewell, Anna gave me a knowing smile, her presence a reminder of cherished friendship through life's changes. Finally, with the night ending, Jacob and I found ourselves exhausted but joyful, ready to begin our honeymoon and new life. Holding his hand, we crossed the threshold of the venue, stepping into our future with a heart full of love and anticipation. I sat at the desk, staring at our wedding photo, feeling my heart sink lower with each passing second. The weight of unspoken secrets threatened to drown me. My mind raced back to the vows we exchanged, filled with promises of trust and fidelity. The creeping suspicion began to gnaw at me relentlessly. The stray receipt I found beneath his desk, a night out at a fancy restaurant dated Tuesday, stoked my doubts into flames. Confronting him about it seemed distant, almost impossible, yet the truth clawed at my insides, demanding release. I chose to follow him one day, an action repugnant to my nature, yet the only way to salvage my sanity. There he was, sitting across another woman at a quaint cafe, laughing and sharing moments meant for us. I froze, watching from afar as waves of betrayal and heartbreak crashed over me. Tears threatened to spill uncontrollably. Returning home, anger boiled within me as I realized how eagerly he showered his attention on someone else. I decided confrontation was inevitable, fire in my veins, demanding retribution for his treachery. His voice tried to soothe but only ignited further fury as his excuses tumbled out in a symphony of lies. Days passed in silence, though, each tick of the clock a reminder of his deceit and broken vows. A heartfelt email from him finally arrived, a confession wrapped in regret and shame, begging for another chance. His words seemed sincere, yet doubt lingered like a shadow, refusing to be dispelled by mere remorse. I agreed to meet him, heart heavy with anticipation and fear of the unknown. His eyes bore into mine, pleading for forgiveness, yet I sought resolution more than reconciliation. We talked for hours, dissecting each word and feeling, revealing wounds we'd both nursed silently. A gentle agreement to start afresh emerged, with conditions: honesty, transparency, and mutual respect. At home, we navigated trust's fragile path, both hesitant yet eager to rebuild what was lost. Every day brought new challenges, unearthing old memories but also planting seeds of hope. Simple gestures became profound, each day an opportunity to heal and rediscover. Conversations deepened, each filled with vulnerability as layers of hurt peeled away. Our laughter, once strained, now resonated freely, a joyous bridge reconnecting our fragmented spirits. As seasons changed, so did we, growing stronger, the once jagged edges of our relationship smoothed by time. The surprise weekend getaway he planned marked the rebirth of our partnership, tethered by renewed love. In its simplicity, the journey transformed us from isolated souls to entwined hearts, firmly committed to our future. Yet whispers of doubt occasionally surfaced, reminding us of past wounds, but never without firm resolve to overcome. Every exchanged glance anchored us to the promise of healing, each moment a testament to our perseverance. We vowed silently to nurture trust, treating it not as a destination but a journey we undertook together. Our story unfolded anew, not as it began, but as we chose it to continue, a narrative written with redemption. I learned that amidst vows broken, strength can rise from honesty and love, a truth profound in its simplicity. I discovered the first secret when I found a bundle of letters in the attic, each stamped with an unfamiliar seal. My heart raced as I realized they weren't addressed to me. The attic felt like a tomb of memories long forgotten. Each letter revealed whispers of a life my mother never shared with me, a hidden past. I confronted my mother over breakfast, my voice trembling as I asked about the letters. Her face turned pale, as if she'd seen a ghost. She admitted to another life, a family she left behind. It felt like the ground shifted beneath my feet. My mother's truth unraveled further as she spoke of a brother I never knew. My emotions oscillated between shock and pure curiosity. I felt compelled to reach out to this unknown brother, navigating social media, each keystroke laden with hope and fear. Days passed, and I finally received a reply. The words, "I've been waiting for this moment," ignited something inside me. Meeting my brother in a local cafe, I was struck by how familiar his eyes looked, a mirror of my own. His stories of childhood without me ignited a bittersweet longing for lost time, each tale like a puzzle piece fitting perfectly yet painfully. We talked for hours, laughing and crying, weaving a bond from the threads of our fractured pasts. Back home, my mother awaited my return with a somber acceptance, bracing for the aftermath of her revelations. Forgiveness was not immediate. Trust, once shattered, is a delicate thing to rebuild. Over weeks, we focused on healing, slowly stitching old wounds. My mother shared more about her past, once locked away. A twisted revelation arose that my father knew all along, complicit in this web of silence. Facing my father was a daunting task. His justification for silence was love, but it felt like betrayal. The confrontation ended in tears, leaving a raw rift, exposing wounds in need of mending. Amidst the chaos of unraveling secrets, I discovered my resilience. Strength surfaced from the depths of turmoil. Rebuilding life was a rocky path but brought unexpected beauty. Connections deepened where once shadows lingered. My brother became a cornerstone, supporting me with unwavering presence as we forged a new family structure. Family dinners became the canvas where new memories were painted, colorful events filled with laughter. My father's presence was a cautious one, a man rebuilding bridges with each smile and shared word. In my heart, forgiveness cautiously grew. I learned it was not about excusing the past, but embracing the present. Occupying my mother's old world, I found pieces that now fit into my own without force. Meeting extended family marked a new chapter, filling the void with connection and shared history. My brother and I built a tradition of meeting on Sundays, grounding us as we shaped our newfound sibling bond. Life felt like it was knitting itself together, each stitch bringing warmth that had long eluded me. Despite the trials, love became the underpinning of our ever-evolving family story. I realized that secrets, while painful, can bind as potent reminders of resilience and love's power to heal. Having sifted through layers of truth and deceit, I finally embraced my family's complex tapestry with open heart. This newfound unity is a testament to our capacity for love, proving that even shattered pieces can form something beautiful. I'd always known Tom since childhood, but one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, something shifted between us. It was as if a lens had refocused, revealing nuances I once missed. The light caught his eyes, and I noticed their depth for the first time. My heart skipped, unsure whether this was anxiety or anticipation. As our chat drifted to memories, I flushed, feeling unexpectedly aware of my own vulnerability. I wrestled with emotions long buried, wondering if Tom felt the same under this newfound lens. Tom's laughter was contagious, drawing the attention of a few nearby patrons. It seemed to echo differently now, wrapping me in comfort and unsettling the silence I'd grown used to. He asked about my latest travels, a topic we could spend hours on. Maybe it was the way he leaned in, genuinely engaged, that made familiarity feel like discovery. In the midst of our laughter, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Mark, our mutual friend, hinting at deeper intentions I'd never before considered. I questioned Mark's message, pushing aside its implications, choosing instead to savor this shared moment. Tom's company was an adventure I wasn't ready to abandon. As we parted ways at dusk, the world felt infused with a new vibrancy, the city streets alive with colors previously overlooked. Somehow, everything had changed. Back home, I found myself replaying our conversation, each word carrying a weight I hadn't previously felt. There was something here, but unnameable. Conflicted, I decided to meet Mark to probe into his cryptic message. Anxiety sat with me over coffee, the outcome of this conversation unknown. Mark's words were revealing, suggesting that Tom might see me in a different light. My heart raced with every layer peeled back from the truth. Wanting clarity, I had to confirm if Mark's inklings were true. The idea that Tom felt something was terrifying, yet exhilarating. Days dragged on, each hour filled with what-ifs, while texts with Tom danced around everything except the crucial conversation I dreaded initiating. When Tom invited me to his birthday party, I knew it was the moment to face my truths. Courage doesn't wait for convenience, only for necessity. The evening arrived, my heart thundering with unwelcome rhythm. Each step to Tom's door felt monumental, a threshold to change both frightening and alluring. Inside, the party buzzed with joy, friends clustered in warm corners. Yet I could only focus on Tom as he moved through the crowd, searching for a moment alone. Finally, Tom found me, his familiar face somehow different. My stomach flipped as his eyes met mine, and I knew it was time to voice the truth. Gathering all my courage, I asked when we might spend more time together, outside the confines of group dynamics. His eyes lit up at the invitation. He suggested a hiking trip next weekend, a shared interest and safe territory. Relief washed over me, mixing with excitement, as anxiety released me from its grip. The hike was both refreshing and challenging. Nature became an unspoken mediator, allowing truths to unravel with each step we took on the forest path. Amidst the hike, he paused, taking my hand. The warmth of his touch dissolved remaining doubts, anchoring me to a moment of undeniable clarity. Tom confessed he'd felt this pull between us for some time, hesitations masked by friendship. His sincerity was both a comfort and a surprise. In sync, we admitted that our friendship had long been shifting into untouched territory. The blend of familiar and new was intoxicating, but right. We talked for what seemed like hours, exploring our shared past and potential future, each word a brick in the new foundation we were daring to build. Reaching the trail's end, the sun dipped below the horizon, spreading hues of gold and violet. I felt a sense of fulfillment, a completeness I'd longed for. Returning to the city felt different, as though a puzzle piece had shifted into place. The world was unchanged, yet my view was unquestionably altered. Life resumed its regularity, yet carried a refreshing undercurrent of transformation. Tom and I began intertwining more aspects of our lives, steadily building together. There were bumps and uncertainties, moments of doubt that crept in. But we faced those like we did the hills on our hike, together and in stride. We found strength in laughter, in shared silences, in the comfort of simple routines. These formed the true essence of our evolving relationship. In moments of striking clarity, we sometimes risk losing to truly win. For Tom and me, taking such a chance was a leap towards an unexpected yet desired destiny. I sat in my dimly lit living room, hands trembling, as I held the crumpled letter revealing the years of deception my best friend had been living. I couldn't believe that Jake, the friend I'd trusted since childhood, was capable of such betrayal. His warm smile now felt like a mask he wore to conceal his lies. I replayed countless memories in my mind, trying to pinpoint when everything shifted. The laughter, the trust, all were now tainted. Sitting there, realization hit me like a tidal wave. The recent changes in Jake's behavior suddenly made sense, but they came with a heavy dose of grief. Determined to uncover the truth, I set out for Jake's apartment, my heart pounding with each step, anger and hurt fueling my determination. When Jake opened the door, his surprise quickly gave way to guilt. I could see the panic in his eyes, and it only fueled my resolve. We sat across from each other in his cluttered living room, a chasm of unspoken truths between us. I demanded answers about the lies he'd spun. Jake, initially defensive, started unraveling bits of truth. It was clear he was hiding something bigger, something that shook the foundation of our friendship. It all came apart when he admitted to betraying not just my trust, but manipulating friendships within our group. I felt a gut-wrenching sense of betrayal. I stormed out of his apartment, the weight of his revelations suffocating. The cool night air felt like a fleeting relief from the fire inside me. As I walked away, my phone buzzed with messages from mutual friends expressing shock and confusion as the truth had started to unravel within our circle. Back home, I sat with my thoughts, wondering how to navigate this shattered reality. The solitude of my room amplified the chaos in my mind. Days later, we all gathered, friends united by disillusionment. Confronting Jake as a group felt necessary, yet terrifying. With Jake at the center, we shared our stories of feeling used and lied to. His excuses felt hollow against the chorus of hurt. The turning point came when Sarah, the youngest among us, bravely revealed how his manipulations affected her mental health. That broke our collective resolve to remain silent. Jake finally confessed. Each word felt like a stone dropping into water, spreading waves through the tides of our connections. His confession revealed the pressures he'd faced, driving him to manipulate for acceptance and control. It didn't excuse them, but added depth to our hurt. As we listened, the atmosphere shifted from rage to contemplation, although not absolution. We each bore the weight of choosing how to move forward. After the confrontation, our group met without Jake, discussing whether forgiveness was possible. The emotional impact made consensus elusive. In the days following, I struggled with the potential loss of Jake, the boy who was once my anchor in stormy seas. To close this chapter, I penned a letter to Jake, expressing my conflicted feelings of anger and lingering affection. Reading my letter aloud to myself, I realized it was a necessary step towards healing and forgiveness, and that I had to forgive myself first. A weight lifted as I mailed the letter. Whatever happened next with Jake was out of my control, but I felt a renewed sense of peace. Our group met one last time to discuss how we'd move forward. It was a bittersweet meeting filled with shared memories and hopes. We decided on new boundaries, promising honesty and openness. Rebuilding these relationships would be hard but necessary. Reconnecting personally with each friend, I noticed the small ways we began healing, laughter slowly returning to conversations. The first time I saw Jake again was unexpected. We both hesitated, but then he approached with a cautious, apologetic smile. Jake told me he was seeking therapy, acknowledging how he needed help. A sincere step forward I hadn't anticipated. While it would take time for trust to return, I realized that his effort to change was the beginning of something new, if not a repair. Even with everything that had happened, I felt stronger, more sure of my voice. The seeds of new dynamics planted, and I stepped into a future of possibilities. I never thought my life would unravel so suddenly, standing in my dimly lit living room, holding the opened letter in trembling hands. The letter, a testament of betrayal, revealed debts and loans I never knew of, all under my name. My fiancé Jared, the person I trusted most, had forged my signature, leaving me in his financial mess. In disbelief, I sank onto the couch, haunted by our shared memories now tainted with deceit. As I crumbled emotionally, my best friend Sarah called, almost sensing my need for comfort. Sarah's voice, filled with warmth and assurance, urged me to take action and not let Jared's betrayal define me. The next morning, with a heavy heart, I decided to confront Jared, seeking answers and confrontation I dreaded. Awaiting his arrival at a small cafe, I replayed conversations, searching for overlooked signs of deceit. Finally, Jared walked in, his easy smile faltering upon seeing the stern look on my face. Confronting him was harder than I anticipated. His words, slippery as ever, danced around the truth. As he tried charming his way with half-truths, I felt a clarity settling over me, a decision forming silently. I stood up, declaring that our engagement was over, feeling the burden of deceit lifting slightly. Returning home, the quietness seemed louder, reminding me of the broken dreams I was leaving behind. The next few days were a blur of paperwork and legal consultations, carving a new path for myself. Changing legal documents was tedious, but I could sense a newfound freedom in reclaiming my identity. Sarah was my rock, always by my side, planning a girls' weekend to celebrate new beginnings. Our escape to the countryside was filled with laughter, bonfires, and healing talks beneath starlit skies. Amidst nature's embrace, I began piecing together who I wanted to become, free from past shadows. Returning to the city, I felt stronger, ready to confront the everyday challenges with a renewed spirit. At work, colleagues noticed my newfound confidence, supportive smiles and nods greeting me. Energized, I began revisiting old dreams, applying for courses I had postponed indefinitely. The course, a blend of creativity and business, promised a future I could craft on my own terms. Sarah encouraged me to join her company's charity event, offering a chance to network and expand horizons. At the event, while discussing future projects, I met Michael, who shared my passion for change. Our discussion extended into a small after-event gathering, a comfortable camaraderie forming effortlessly. Intrigued by Michael's perspective, I felt a spark that was both alarming and exciting, a shift in my personal journey. Allowing myself the freedom to feel again, I realized the importance of moving on, letting go of past scars. I opened up about my past, Michael receptive and understanding, reinforcing my belief in second chances. Leaving the event, I felt different, lighter, more hopeful than ever, ready for whatever awaited me. And so, with a heart healed and a mind clear, I stepped forward onto my new path, resolute and full of promise. It all started on one of those ordinary days when you least expect life to shift entirely. I was planting sunflowers, pondering the promises I made to myself last year. As the sun warmed my shoulders, I heard the familiar creak of the gate, and there stood Liam, my ex-boyfriend, with an unreadable expression. It stirred memories I thought I buried. We exchanged awkward greetings before the silence wrapped around us. I was surprised by a sudden urge to know how he was doing after all this time. Liam mentioned he heard through our mutual friend about my family issues, which I was not ready to face. His unexpected concern felt genuine, making me question why things ended. I invited him inside, something past me would never do. As we settled in the living room, memories of our happier days invaded every corner of my mind. Liam opened up about the struggles he had faced, his honesty laying bare like never before. I felt a pang of empathy, contrasting the anger I once held. As he spoke, I realized how much both of us had grown, and I felt an old wound starting to heal. It wasn't closure, but perhaps a new beginning. I suggested we take a walk, feeling lighter than I had in years. The neighborhood had changed, yet felt comfortingly the same, just like us. As we passed familiar places, laughter came easier between us. The heaviness of past regrets seemed to dissipate, replaced by a comforting camaraderie. Suddenly, Liam stopped and turned, his eyes earnest. He confessed that part of him had always wondered if we'd meet again, and if it would be different now. His words lingered in the cool air, and it struck a chord deep within me. Did I too wonder the same in some quiet corner of my heart? The serenity of the moment was suddenly broken by a call from my sister, reminding me of the responsibilities I could no longer shirk. As I hung up, Liam politely offered his support, surprising me with his willingness to help where once he had no interest. With gratitude, I accepted, realizing that rebuilding parts of my life would be easier with someone willing to walk beside me. We returned to my place, the air between us warmer than before. As we stepped inside, a sense of unspoken understanding enveloped both of us. Sitting down to share a meal, we talked about things that made us happy now, recreating a bond rooted in shared growth. That evening, as he prepared to leave, a subtle promise hung in the air, both knowing that this was the start of something renewed yet undefined. When Liam left, I sat alone, the quiet house buzzing with an energy I'd long forgotten, one of hope and acceptance. In the stillness, I pondered how unexpected it was to find clarity through someone I'd once let go, realizing change was both possible and beautiful. Days passed with little messages shared between us, each building a bridge between past wounds and present promises. I began to understand that healing doesn't erase scars, but it does redefine the stories they tell. My heart felt lighter with each reflection of this newfound truth. One evening, I realized I no longer feared the weight of unresolved emotions. Instead, they became lessons that shaped what my heart had become. Meeting Liam had been a catalyst, yet I understood the transformation had been within me all along, just waiting for the right moment to bloom. With each day, I cherished the growth I'd experienced. Whether or not our paths intertwined again, I was proud of the person I was becoming. Returning to my gardening, I felt equipped to plant seeds for a future I was ready to face, one filled with potential and a heart newly at ease. Liam's presence had been a reminder that life bends and curves as it should, teaching us through each encounter and moment of joy and sorrow. One morning, a text arrived from him, a simple note hoping I was well. It felt like a gift, acknowledging the present without dwelling on the past. We met again for coffee, and our conversation flowed effortlessly, like streams finding their way through old paths, reshaped yet familiar. As we parted ways, the future felt less daunting. Whatever unfolded, I was ready to embrace the path ahead, enriched by the reflections of a changed heart. I felt grateful for the twists and turns, knowing every step and stumble had led to this, a life guided by lessons of love and resilience.